In the late 1400s, there were many non-white populations in southern Spain. There were Moors and Jews. But one group often forgotten were the Gitanos, known as Spanish Gypsies, also known as the Roma People. Spain tried to get rid of the Gypsies, but failed. One of their techniques was shipping them to the Spanish colonies to mix them with the native population. The origins of the Gypsies people in Spain are generally known as Gitanos. The term Gitano comes from Egyptano, a Spanish term for Egyptian, as the English word gypsy comes from Egyptian. Both terms are due to a medieval European belief that the Romani people came from Egypt. Gitano identity is particularly complex in Spain. Roma gypsies originated in the Punjab region of northern India as a nomadic people and entered Europe between the 8th and 10th centuries CEE. This minority is made up of distinct groups called tribes or nations. Forced migration to Mexico and miscegenation with the native Mexican population. In 1498, 4 Romanas named Anton Catherine and Maria Macius, described as Egyptians, traveled with the crew of the 3rd voyage of Christopher Columbus to the New World. Back then, it was called the Egyptians adjective, and its derivative, gypsies. In 1499, gypsies were expelled from Spain, the kingdoms of Castile and Aragon, as part of the measures of the Catholic monarchs to unify their territories through language and religion. Gypsy men and women between 15 and 16 years old were sent to the Americas, mainly Mexico and the Caribbean, and the islands to marry them to indigenous Mexicans and mestizos. To avoid their reproduction in Spain, many gypsies that were defined as criminals were banished to the Spanish island, now the Dominican Republic and Haiti. In 1570, a law passed by Felipe II banned the passage of Romani to America. The number of illegal gypsy immigrants continued to the Spanish colonies. Among them, the gypsies, Moors, and Jews changed colonial identity, entering through the colonies of Portugal, England, France, and Holland. Later migrations. The last great migration of gypsies to Mexico was in the 1960s in an exodus from Spain. At this time, they mainly settled in Mexico City and dedicated themselves to selling textiles and furs. There are currently communities in Veracruz, the south of Puebla, the northwest of Guadalajara, and the north of Monterrey. What is known about the Romani population in Mexico is that many came on some of the early Spanish voyages from the Old World to settle on American soil, and some had faced persecution throughout their long history as wanderers, mystics, and musicians. The Romanis faced significant prejudice in Mexico. In 1931, a law was passed to prohibit further settlement in the country. While new Romani migrants arrived later under assumed identities, the era of open Romani migration was over. Nevertheless, the minority had already made a significant impact on the culture. While Mexico's indigenous and Spanish Catholic roots are often celebrated, the Romani heritage, which is still alive and strong today, is often ignored. Gypsy Romani influence on Mexican-Spanish culture has greatly influenced the development of Mexican culture in dance and song. Gypsy Calo language. Calo is a language spoken by the Spanish Romani Ake Gypsies. It is a mixed language based on Romance grammar with an adstratum of Romani lexical items through language shift by the Romani community. It is often used as an argot, a secret language for discreet communication among Iberian Romani. The Gypsy Calo language also has influenced Chicano, Mexican-American, Pachuco Spanish slang, Romani Calo words, Chaval, Jalar, Chinars, Chinar, Chivato, Calcos, Shinga,